I have to rip back and then I'll be happy. Hello and welcome. It has been a while. Welcome to my little messy corner, my little messy knitting corner. If you're new here, my name is Umbriel and I am a knitter based in the Netherlands, and I have made a lot of YouTube videos, but I have taken a little break. If you're interested in knowing why, I see you can really see my mess right now in the background. See, this is why I decided to embrace the messy part, because I am pretty messy. I can pretend like I'm this perfect knitter and then I have everything kept together, but I don't. And I'm kind of messy, and I am currently surrounded by one big mess because we're trying to figure out what to do with all these old clothes that we have. So you see the best part of our house at this moment. So yes, I'm embracing it, and join me in being a little messy knitter. Aren't we all sometimes? So yeah, it has been a long time. I have recorded my last video, I think in May. It was my May knitting diaries. And I've decided to name this like my little messy knitting corner, episode 1. So welcome. But there's a lot more to watch if you're interested in knowing more about my knitting journey. But right now I'm just gonna talk you through everything between May and now. And if you're interested in like knowing a little bit more about why I took a little break, I'll do that at the end, because I know that the people who still watch at the end are the real hardcore people on this channel. So I'm happy that you're here, and I'll save that little part for you guys. Other people are also welcome to watch, of course, but yeah, I think that's the best order of this video. So I'm just gonna tell you everything that I have been working on since May. I have a bunch of knitting and crochet and a lot of finished objects, so I can show you what I have made. And yeah, some things aren't here anymore because I had to gift it to somebody. So yeah, this summer we went to a wedding, the wedding of my boyfriend's sister, and I made her 2 Astrid pillows. I actually was doing that as part of my acrylic stash down idea. So I was also recording a video for that, and that video will come at some point, but I just felt like filming today. So this is the first thing I'm gonna put out. But I can put in a little like video of that project. So the Astrid Pillow is a project by Mallory Crawl from my memory. I'll just click on it on my computer quick. Mallory Crawl. I made 2 different ones, and I used for all of them I used acrylic. They're actually made for fingering yarn held double. So like if you have a mini set, you can use the mini set and then one main color. What I did is I just used all of the different colors that I had for my acrylic yarn that I'm trying to use up. And I used that to make this pillow. And then I made 1, and then I decided to make 2 because they went pretty fast. And yeah, I brought the pillowcases almost completely finished, like until the point where you have to insert the pillow. I brought it like that to the US, and then in the US I put in a 14-inch pillow. I think it's supposed to be a 14-inch, but then I bought a 16-inch because my pillows were a little bigger and I thought that was a nicer size. So yeah, and I even went down a needle size, so I don't know, maybe I crochet a little tightly, I don't know. But anyway, they turned out super nice, and they go really well together with their living room, which I didn't think about at all. But I put a bunch of blue in there, and their living room has blue. So that was kind of fun. that worked out pretty nicely. And yeah, I think I'll like post that video at some point and talk about the whole process at that point. But I mean, I started them May 29th and finished them on June 4th. Oh, that was the first one. But so like in the next days after that, I did the second one. So it's been a while and I can't really remember, but I will definitely, like, I have everything, the whole process filmed. So I will have everything on tape, what I was thinking in that process. So I will show that at some point. I'll edit that video. Yeah, so that was the Astrid pillows that I made. I'm not really doing chronological order, but I think that's okay. This was kind of linked to where we were. So we were in the US, we had the wedding, and then I also was crocheting something else. After this, it's all knitting. These are the two crochet projects. I was making the Relaxagon shirt, which is this crocheted like button-up shirt. And I crocheted this for my boyfriend. It was his wedding outfit for the wedding. It was like a country wedding it was near Helena in Montana, and it was in the hills. It was beautiful, and it was like totally like kind of down to earth kind of wedding. Like, it was really nice because like you can't wear this to every wedding, if you know what I mean. But this was, you could definitely wear this to a wedding, or to this wedding. And my boyfriend was performing. He plays guitar and he sings, so he did that. And then I was wearing my heartless top. This is like the worst thing. Okay, I'll just put in a picture. Because yeah, there were pictures made, obviously. So I was wearing my hand knitted top with the heart that I made before, that I talked about on this channel. And then I crocheted this shirt for my boyfriend, and it was so much work. Oh my gosh. It was like in the final days leading up to the wedding. So my plan was to finish it when I was here in the Netherlands before we went over there. And then in the final days up to the wedding, I still hadn't finished it. But then we had one day where my boyfriend went out golfing with a buddy, and then it was just me and the bride, so his sister. And we just wanted to have like this she just wanted to have this relaxing day because she was kind of stressed out for the wedding. And I needed to work on this shirt. And then I started the second half. So the shirt is made in like these two hexagons where you start like under the armpit basically. And then you like increase. And I had just started the second half. And it was like 5 days for the wedding or something. And then I put in so much work that one day that I like calculated how much more like time I had and how much more I had to do. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this. And then the day before the wedding, I finally finished it. And then I sewed on buttons and like we wove in all the ends when we had the rehearsal dinner. So that's how last minute everything came together. I also didn't do the little, there's supposed to be like a little border that you go all around everything. Didn't do it. Didn't have time for it. Don't see the benefit of it because this is totally fine and like perfect. And I was so not set on how this was gonna turn out. Like I didn't really believe in it that much, but I was like, okay, trust the process. That's what they always say. And then when I put the collar on and then added the buttons, it was perfect. And then everybody was like giving him compliments on the shirt. And then everybody was like, did you know she crocheted it? And then I was very proud. So that was very fun. So yeah, that's the Relaxagon shirt. I was also vlogging this one, so you can maybe understand a little bit why I was like getting a little burned out, but more about that later. Yeah, so that was pretty fun to make. The only thing I would say, do you see here at the back, these like bigger holes? That was like the only weird thing about this pattern is you don't realize it that much from the pictures. I don't know if they're like hiding it, but if you join the two sides together, there's like, it's inevitable to have these bigger holes here in the middle. But nobody noticed, like that's like, only I noticed that. No one else has noticed it. And because it runs along the spine, it's fine. But yeah, that was like a little thing that I was like, how can I make this prettier? But yeah, so I did post already. I put here a picture of my boyfriend wearing it. It was a big success. He hasn't worn it ever since because he's like, I feel like this is something I need to wear for like a special occasion. And I'm like, well, yeah, but you should wear the shirt. It's like something that, I don't know, it's like in fashion right now. So you should wear it. I've made this weird concoction. It's like my summery drink. What I do is I boil fresh turmeric root, fresh ginger root, boil them in water, and then like let it simmer for a while. Make sure it doesn't all evaporate because you need the liquid. Then I strain it and I put it in a jar and add like a tablespoon of honey. Stir it, put it in the fridge. Perfect iced tea. I know it's not tea, but it's like really good. And that's why I'm drinking out of a jar. Messy. Just embrace it. All right, so that's 2 finished objects. Then I have a few tops that I finished. So I finished this. You might have seen this in my whip parade, like all the things that have been like lingering that I haven't been working on for a long time or hadn't, because I picked this up and worked on it. It was like just a couple more centimeters and then it was done. So it was not that much work. But I did start it like more than a year ago. I can look up when I started it. Yeah, I started it on June 9th, 2023. Finished it June 24. I don't remember when I finished it. So I just like put it into Ravelry that it was in June. Yeah. And I finally finished it. This top is Camisole number 6 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. I had knitted before in like a DK weight cotton yarn, with the recommended needle and everything in a large. And then this one I also made in the same size, so also in a large, but on 3.5mm needles and with a sport weight yarn. And it turned out really nicely. I really like this. So that would be my recommendation. If you do like the way that the top looks, the Camisole number 6, but you don't like how chunky it looks, then you can go down a needle size and just have like a form-fitting version. So yeah, it's definitely like tight, but it looks like a perfect knitted top and it's so soft. This is 100% bamboo by Nurturing Fibers, Eco Bamboo. It's a yarn from South Africa and I got it there when I was in Cape Town. And yeah, it's like so soft. It's super nice. It is hand dyed, so and it didn't alternate skeins or anything. So you can see some color blocks, but I don't really mind it that much. Yeah, and I really like this. Yeah, I really enjoy this finished object. I haven't been wearing it a lot, but you know when you feel like insecure about your arms? That's kind of what this top does to me, but I know I'll wear it. Like, this is like such a staple top. So yeah, but you know, girl problems. Anyway, so that's finished. And then I also finished another top, and I do really like the way that this one fits on me. And that I was working on, I think in my last video, I think. Do not pin me down on that, or pin me to that, pin me about that, pin me on it. Yeah, I started May 3rd, so yeah, I think in the knitting diaries of May I did mention it. I finished it pretty quickly, so I finished it on June 9th of this year, and this was a test for Tiffany of Typical Bliss, and this is the Thursday, the typical Thursday top. Yeah, I knitted it in Knitting for Olive Pure Silk in the poppy blue colorway. It's so pretty. It looks so good. And I had some troubles with the button placement because if you don't want the holes to be gapy, then you can't have them too far apart. So, and there's an I-cord all around the edge, around like the button band kind of thing. And then I had to rip back everything because the buttonholes were in the wrong spot for me, and also to have enough coverage to not have it like too low. Yeah, she wrote the pattern to be like tight so that you do have the gaping in between the buttonholes. Yeah, and so I didn't really want that because then I feel like it looks like I put something on that's too small. You know, girl problems. And so I decided to test for her the 2XL, which would be, I think, one size bigger than would be recommended for my bust size. So I, went up a needle, or up a clothing size to make this pattern, and I'm really happy with the way it looks. So it's a little like sheer. It's knitted on 3.25 millimeter needles with the Knitting for Olive Pure Silk, so you can see it's a little sheer, but then it's like really like drapey, so it looks really nice on me. I kind of like that it's like a little bit not see-through, but it's like a little like opaque. Is that the right word? Like transparent, but not like see-through. Opaque is, I think, the opposite. I don't know. Not my first language. I don't know. Yeah, so I really enjoyed this one. It's a really nice top, and I really enjoyed this construction, and it's really fun. I like to have a top that has like buttons on the front, and the buttons are really cute. I really like these buttons. They're like almost like a little crescent moon kind of shape, and then with like a little bit of purple, a little bit of blue-ish, but they look so like neutral, but they have something special to them. I got them from a market in my hometown. So yeah, there's a market with buttons and fabric every Friday. Such a luxury. Anyway. Yeah, so that's that top. Knitting for Olive Pure Silk. I would really recommend this yarn. I really enjoy it for a stockinette project. I've made cables in it before. It was a little too like thin, a little too light fingering for cables. So I would recommend knitting something in stockinette with it. Then I have 2 pairs of socks that I finished. This one I started in the US. I was in Missoula in Montana, and I was really in the mood of doing some self-striping socks. So yeah, I did toe-up socks, I think. Yeah, I did them toe-up with ribbing on the top, and then of the foot, and then ribbing all around the leg. I did a 2x1 rib. And I folded over the cuff at the top and like knitted it down over there. And I made 2, obviously, and I made them match exactly. So I kept track of where I started the first one, and then started the second one at the same spot. And then I did an afterthought heel once I get back in the Netherlands. So I did finish these on the plain back. I finished the second one on the plain back. So yeah, that was a really nice project. I was just so in the mood for a self-striping sock. And I did make this one from a German brand, so that felt a little weird. Like, I'm from the Netherlands, the neighboring country of Germany. And then I buy a self-striping yarn in the US from Germany. So it's okay. I started them on July 4th and we went tubing on the river. No, not tubing, rafting on the river on July 4th. And I started them on the way to there. So that was really fun. It's a nice memory. And then it says completed on July 28th. So that was because I put in the heels at that point. So it's the Camisole Regia. It's a design line by Arne and Carlos. And it's a 4-ply sock yarn. And it's from their design line by these two guys. And it's colorway 3826. Everything, by the way, is always in my Ravelry project page, because otherwise I'm knitting so much now that it's like good to have it there for myself. So yeah. Yeah, so those are for myself. I haven't worn them yet because it's been hot. And I also started and finished this pair of socks. And the reason I did that is because, and this feels kind of silly, I have made a pair of Paw Socks for the same friend 2 times already before this pair. But the first pair I ended up gifting to my aunt because I was going to go to her birthday. I didn't have a present, and I kind of thought, oh, these socks are probably too small for that friend, because I tried them on and she has bigger feet than me, and they were like pretty snug. So I gifted that pair to my aunt. Then the other pair that I made specifically for her, again with a bigger foot size, like last minute, a friend was gonna stay over here and she was gonna like sleep here on the night that would be her birthday. So this is a different friend. And then I didn't have anything for her, and I felt like I really want to give her something handmade. I was trying to like cast on and make some socks real quick for her. And then I was like, I can't do this. I am running out of time. So I ended up gifting her the pair of socks, the second pair of socks, Paw Socks. So then I came home and I talked to the friend that the first pair, well, both pairs of socks were actually for, and she was going to maybe come over here. I was like, now it's really time to get her socks. I still have them, but I did finish them. She didn't end up coming over, but I decided to just like finish them up real quickly. Honestly, I can almost not remember even making these. It was just like a trance, like, okay, let's go. Like, let's just make these socks. And yeah, I finished them. It's a pair of Paw Socks. And what I used for yarn is for the like main color, like the yellowish color, I held together a yarn from my advent calendar from Artemis Yarns together with a hobby 4-ply sock yarn. And the colors are in my Ravelry project page. I did write them down, so I know them, but I don't know. And this is, what was it again? Lang yarn, sock yarn in the sage green colorway. I can name them up, but if you want to know, just go to my Ravelry project page and you can click on the link and like see which yarn I'm talking about. That's easier than me like saying it in words. All right. Did you miss this? Like, did you miss this chaos? This like weird kind of person you're listening to while knitting or crocheting or drinking tea? I don't know. Whatever. All right, so those are another pair of Paw Socks, and these are reserved. Like, these cannot go to anybody else. These are for that friend. Yeah, so that's the little story about the socks for a friend. Oopsie. So that's the end of the finished objects. It really doesn't feel like that much, honestly, but maybe it is. It's been like June, July, and now almost the entirety of August. So yeah, it doesn't feel like I finished that much, but I mean, I'm a little strict for myself maybe. I do have some works in progress, and a few of them I'm not going to show you because I haven't been working on them for a while now. But I started a stripy button vest with some yarn from Farber Stylish Fibers, and I was working on that a lot in the US, so I will pick it up again once it gets a little cooler. I picked up my Camisole number 5 again, one of those whips that are just lingering, but it's like near the couch somewhere, but I haven't worked on it for a little bit. Started another muscle burr hat with just a black yarn that I had in stash. And yeah, I just wanted to have something in case I want to go to the movies, and a hat seems to be the perfect project because if I knit on socks in the movie theater, my gauge is too different. So I have too large of a gauge on my socks for, in the movies. I don't know why, but that doesn't work for me. So I have to work on a hat. So I casted that on. I watched Deadpool Wolverine Don't Go. It was not, I just like looked at my boyfriends and I was like, why is this necessary? Why have to be so gross? But like, it's fine. I'm okay. My boyfriend always thinks I'm too sensitive for that kind of stuff, but I'm not. I'm fine. I'm just like, it's so unnecessary. I don't know. If you really like it, I do like Marvel. I just think it's a little too like the jokes and the violence and like the blood. I'm like, calm down. Like, anyway, I casted the muscle bar on before going to the movies, and then I didn't finish them. Finish the crown increases in time. So the muscle bar hat starts with the crown increases and then decreases again and then folds in itself. I'll show it in a future video when I'm working on it a little more. Yeah, so I was finishing the crown increases and then I didn't finish, and that was okay. But I did finish them now, so they're ready to work on if I go to the movie theater whenever I do. Yeah, and that leaves me... Oh yeah, and there's another little top in linen that I have started. I actually started the mini mock neck tank by Jessie Maid in that yarn in like a really, really light fingering. I would almost say lace. Linen yarn that I bought, like a neon yellow, super cool, but it just didn't work in all the like short rows. It showed the short rows, like it didn't look good, so I ripped that out and then I started to just like make my own. So yeah, I also kind of liked playing with that, if that makes sense. Like, I don't necessarily want to design knitwear. I do have like 2 sock patterns, as you maybe know, but I don't necessarily want to be a knitwear designer. I just, sometimes I have this idea in my mind what I want to have, and then I can't really find a project, like a pattern with it. So then in those cases, it's nice to just make it up myself. And then if I want to turn that into a pattern, then I can, obviously, but I don't have to. I can just make whatever I like and then call it my chaos corner. So, but there's 2 whips I do want to talk about. And the first one, you might be proud of me that I started using this yarn, if you do remember, but I started to use my Peer Gynt. And I am making the Ingrid Sweater. So I have made my boyfriend the Guernsey Genser by Sandnesgarn. It's a pattern by Sandnesgarn from one of their booklets. And I have been looking for myself to make the Ingrid Sweater because I really like all the yarn overs in there. And I like the way that the shoulder detailing looks. Yeah, I have a lot of stitches here going on, so I don't really want to like get this too off the needles. But yeah, I really liked the way that it looked. So I really wanted to make the Ingrid sweater. And I casted it on. And then I just kept going and kept going. And now all of a sudden I'm like somewhere in the body. So I am like almost at the end of this section in the body. And then yeah, this is the end of the yarn. It's just in there. Hold on. So I was at the end of the yarn ball that I was working from. So then I decided to do the neck first, so the collar. I am doing the original collar by Petite Knits. So Ingrid Sweater Petite Knits. I'm doing the original collar. I know a lot of people have made a 1x1 folded collar instead, and the option is in the pattern how to make it, but I really enjoy that like thicker or like longer, almost turtlenecky collar, where you first have the 2x2 and then you have the 1x1. So I'm making that one and I'm excited to see what that looks like. I am using tin Peer Gynt held double. So I'm using these two strands at the same time. Peer Gynt is yarn from Sunday's Garn, and this is the colorway Lemon. And I bought this a little bit ago, not too long ago, but I had been thinking about what I want to make with it. I was initially planning on making the Calm Down cardigan by Lily Kate France, but then, I don't know, I just casted it on. I just let it happen, and then it happened, and now it's like my whip. And I've been loving it. So I casted this on like after coming back from the US. So this is kind of a lot of progress, honestly. And it is really addictive to like keep knitting on it, because there's like so many different things going on. And this lattice section I'm doing differently than Petite Knit wants you to do it. So she does something where you like knit two together and then knit one of them. Like you have two stitches and you want to move it around. You want to like move one stitch around. So she does something with like knitting two stitches together and then knitting the other one again. I don't know, if you have the pattern, you know probably what I mean. I decided to just do like what you do in mock cables. So if you do mock cables, which is like one stitch and you like twist them, you can knit one stitch from the back, like the second stitch, either from the back loop around the back, or you can knit it from the front. Like, so you can knit it from the back or from the front, the second stitch, and then knit the first stitch. And that way you twist them around in one way or in the other way. So I'm doing that for these sections. And I think it looks good. That's just how I like to do it. And I was like, this looks so complicated. I don't want to do this. And then I started doing it. And then I thought, oh, maybe this is going to look super bad. And that's why she has that in the pattern. But I don't think it looks any different. I don't know. I think this looks good. Yeah, I think so. If you don't think so, you can let me know. Like, nah, you should have done the other thing, because I still have the other section coming up, so then that would look better. So if you do think the other way looks better, then let me know. I don't really mind criticism. Except for when people give thumbs downs on videos. That's like the saddest thing ever. That makes me actually sad. Then just leave a comment. Then just say, hey, I didn't like you because this. Okay. And we're keep going. We're gonna keep going. I'm also knitting on this. This is a test knit. I am testing, and you can already see this color looks so good on me. I'm so happy I found this. So this is, I'm gonna talk about the yarn first because this yarn is so nice. It's the Wild and Soft by Gepard yarn. And I found it in the perfect color. And I've been looking for this color. And then I found the color. So then I ordered the color. And it came from Belgium. And I got it in right before going on my holiday, and I was looking for the right project for it. And I thought, I want to make a tee, and I was thinking about the Anna tee by Sarah Stark, I think. Anna tee. It's really popular design on Ravelry. So I was looking at that one, and I was like, yeah, I don't know. And then came a testing call by Jessie Made Designs for the 1993 tee. And if you're interested in testing for Jessie Made Designs, sign up for her newsletter. That's how she does it. Or maybe there's a separate, well, you can sign up for it to get the tester calls. So that's how you can test for her. We're not doing gatekeeping. Everybody can join. Everybody can be a test knitter. Yeah, so then I casted it on with that yarn. So it's a perfect match. The only thing is I did something wrong, and I emailed her. I said, hey, I have too few stitches, and if I go through the pattern, then I end up with this and blah, 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 blah. But silly me made a little mistake. I had to cast on like double the amount of stitches under the underarm. So I have to rip back, and then I will have the right amount of stitches. So yeah, I am knitting the 1XL. It has a lot of negative ease, this pattern, so I think that would be a perfect size for me. I based it on my upper bust, because I think if I did my full bust, then it would have been a 2XL. Yeah, so like there's two different measurements in there. And she said to base it more on your upper bust than on your like full bust, if you have a larger difference between the two. So yeah, I have to rip back and then I'll be happy and on board again. But this is really lovely yarn. But this is the Gepard Wild and Soft, and it is 40% wild Tussa silk and 60% merino wool. And it's kind of like rough, I would say, but I have a feeling it's going to be really nice with like wear and wash and everything. And I just love this color. The color is 214. Why do I keep saying 2? It's 814. I like heard myself say it. That's not what it says. 814 here. 814. I can't see it. Okay, 8. Okay. So those are my whips. I think that's like all of the whips. I also like mentioned all of the ones that I have like lingering. So now it's time at the end of the video. I'm a little bit tired, but that's okay. I'll talk a little bit about why I took a little break. I haven't prepared anything about what I'm going to say right now, but that's okay. I hope you don't mind at least. If you don't want to hear this, that's totally fine. You're free to go and watch something else. But if you want to know a little bit about what's going on in my mind, then you can stick around. So I was definitely getting a little overwhelmed in May. I bought this house. So the house that I had been renting for like 3 years before, I bought it in the end of April. And my work, we had a reorganization. I was doing a lot of stuff for there. It was getting really interesting, and I got a lot of more like responsibilities, I felt like, even though I got paid the same amount of money. Yeah, and then there were like all these decisions at work that were just like really stressful, and I actually wasn't really sleeping super well. Like I had like sleepless nights. And then I was like also like pressuring myself into posting all these videos on YouTube just because I enjoy it and I like making project vlogs a lot. Like you might have noticed that. If you're on this channel a lot, I enjoy making project vlogs just because it's so fun to make a whole wrap up of one project. So like the acrylic stash down and the knitted shirt that I was working on and my sock videos and everything. And then I just wrote everything down and it just got like way too much. And then the YouTube algorithm on top of that it was just like, I was like, why am I doing all of this? Like, I felt like I didn't get any recognition at work for the work that I was doing. I had sleepless nights because of it. It just didn't feel like I was getting any recognition, because YouTube also doesn't really promote my videos like they do some other people. Like, you might look at my views and think like, oh, she's not like as good as other people. And that's kind of what it feels like to me. But honestly, sometimes there's like no difference, you know what I mean? And that just felt a little over like disheartening, I guess. And then I posted my little thing on the YouTube like community thing where you can post things as a creator. And I was just like, it's just getting a little too much to fight with the algorithm at this time. I didn't really say that much more, but that's like everything that was behind it. Because I was putting in all this effort and like asking myself all these things to do, and like producing videos and like editing and like all those things that come with it. I do really like it, and I like to put out a video every week and like think about that, but it was just getting too much. Like, I was putting way too much on myself with the house and like everything happening at my job. Like, I work a 9-to-5 job, by the way. I don't think I've ever said that on here. I'm an engineer. I studied civil engineering, and I work as a consultant in a job. And we had this reorganization, and I was kind of at the like, I made this whole idea up of what needs to change, and then I was just like in the lowest rank of all the consultants. And I don't know, it just felt like I wasn't appreciated for all the work that I put in. A lot of other people walked with my ideas, and then I don't know, then YouTube also like just kept putting me down. It's like, no, no, not this video, nope, no, not this one. That was like, okay, I'm just gonna focus on me. Like, I'm just gonna enjoy crafting. I'm just gonna like knit for a little bit, just me, not be on Instagram either, like just focus on myself. I haven't really watched any knitting podcasts for a while. I just needed to like get away from it for a little bit, because it was just like too much. I just like felt underappreciated, like in every, well, not in my social life, but like in everything that I put out to the world, at work, and then by YouTube. Not by you guys, but by the system. Because it's just so random, and it almost makes me feel like they want me to work for them and like to crave after this thing. But I also have my 9-to-5. So yeah, if you're also someone who has things like this, you might like understand kind of what I went through. So yeah, that's kind of why. Nothing super serious, like everybody's healthy, everybody's happy, but it was just for myself, and kind of to protect myself from feeling like I wasn't doing things right. Yeah, so that feels kind of good to say, and kind of weird because I don't really share that much personal stuff. Like, I do when I talk to people. Like, I'm one of the most honest people, I would say. Like, I could tell you anything, but it just feels weird to just put it out here, like literally sitting in a room by myself. But I'm more than happy to talk about it. And everybody who is still watching at this point, I appreciate you so much. I appreciate the messages that I got when I was taking my break, and also like the little likes and little comments when I posted that post. So thank you so much. I appreciate you, and thank you for being here with me, and let's just like knit together, and that's all that matters. Like, I should not put anything other like thing that I need to achieve on putting my YouTube videos out there, because I have enough of that at work. So this is just going to be my hobby, and today I just really felt like filming again, and then I felt happy and I was like, all right, I'll just do it, and just do it as what it is, a hobby. So yeah, that was it. I won't make any promises on a new video, but I think I'll be okay. Yeah, and I want to call it like my little messy knitting corner from now on, because I'm just embracing the mess, what this is, because this is not work, this is just for fun, just for us. So thank you so much for watching, and if you have anything to share with me about, like something you want to share about anything that I just said, I would be more than happy to talk about it in the comments or on Instagram or wherever you want to talk to me. So yeah, I appreciate you. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.